take a look at, this is actually the third video I'm making today on this stuff. Let's take a look at the word problems and those last two special case problems. So number 12, a number, what does that mean, a number? That's just x, any number, right? X is less than. That means the less than symbol. Whenever you see the word is, you got to think equal sign, but since we're talking about inequalities, it's not an equal sign, it's an inequality. Is less than is exactly that, less than symbol. Okay, is less than what? It says 1/4, so let's write down 1/4. 1/4 of the sum, so when I say 1/4 of the sum, I know that that's going to bring up some parentheses and an addition. Sum means add. So they want you to add first and then multiply it by 1/4. 1/4 of the sum of 3 times the number and 4. The sum of, let me do this in a different color. 3 times the number, that's 3x, and 4. Make sense? Yeah. So this is our inequality. That's pretty complicated. What makes it complicated? You have a fraction. So what could we do to get rid of that fraction? Multiply by 4. So when we multiply by 4, I'm saying multiply everything by 4. Now when I say everything by 4, it says what's inside the parentheses. So I'm really just saying this by 4 and this by 4. So our new inequality is going to be 4x is less than 1, because the 4's cancel, parenthesis 3x plus 4. Now, distributing a 1 is not going to change anything, right? So I could just erase that multiplication of 1, because 1 times 3x is 3x and 1 times 4 is 4. So there's my new simple inequality. 4x is less than 3x plus 4. Let's get the x by itself on one side. What do I do? Minus 3x. That's an excellent choice. Minus 3x. That'll cancel it out. Minus 3x. 4x, take away 3x. What's that? 1x. So you could just write x. Check it out. X. The less than symbol didn't change because I didn't divide or multiply by a negative. What did I do? I subtracted. And what do we have on the right side? A 4 left over.
X is less than 4.
So x is less than 4. The hard part on this problem was coming up with the inequality based on that sentence. Let's try number 13. 2 times the sum. Okay, once again, 2 times is easy. The sum implies that you're going to have to add 2 things. So we open up some parentheses, put a plus sign in the middle. So the question is, what are we going to be adding up? We're going to sum a number. So that's just x or n or whatever you want, whatever variable you want to use. We're going to add a number and 4, right? It says and 4. So x plus 4 is inside of the parentheses. Now here's another tricky part. Is no more than. So the is no more than, that implies is like an equal sign, but we know we're going to have an inequality instead of an equal sign. No more than is no more than. That means less than or equal to. Less than or equal to. Now what's on the right side? It says 3 times the sum. Dang. Okay, so that's going to be 3 times the sum. Once again, open up some parentheses with the plus in the middle. And what are we going to be adding inside of those parentheses? We're going to have the number and 7. What the heck? Okay, sorry. Let's take a piece at a time. A number and 7. So a number goes in here, x, and 7 goes in here. And then it continues and says decreased by 4. So the whole thing decreased by 4. Whew, that was a tough one. Probably not going to give you this one on the quiz tomorrow. All right, so you would solve this, and the best way to solve it would be to rewrite it on a separate sheet where you have more space. Okay, so let's distribute 2 times x, 2x. 2 times 4, positive 8. Bring down the inequality. On the right side, 3 times x, that's 3x. 3 times 7, that's 21. But you have a minus 4 at the end, and you could actually combine the 21 with the minus 4. 21 minus 4 is 17, correct? So we have 3x plus 17. So now we need to get x by itself on one side. You guys want to get the x to the left or to the right?
Right.
To the right? Sure, why not? We're going to subtract 2x. Subtract 2x. You're going to have 8 is less than or equal to 1x plus 17. So you're going to subtract 17 to get x by itself. Subtract 17. You will have negative 9 is less than or equal to 1x. Or you could just say x. You don't need the 1. Now this is the correct answer. However, it's not that nice looking. Just like on an equation, if you get the answer 9 equals x, you don't want to leave it 9 equals x. You want to write it x equals 9. So what you want to do is take the x and take the negative 9 and flip them. So you're going to put the x on this side and the negative 9 on this side. However, this is the correct answer. So if it was opening up to the x, it has to continue opening up to the x. So it has to open up to the x. So this one is the best answer. Yes, this one's correct, but this one is better. Okay? Let's move on to the most interesting type of question there is, those special case problems. So it says extra questions, special cases. What we need to do is do one side at a time. So let's simplify by ignoring the right side and just doing the left side. Once again, guys, when you distribute, circle the 9 and include the negative in front. And then distribute negative 9 times 4x. What is that? Negative 36x. Negative 9 times negative 8. Positive 72. Negative times negative is a positive. And then, of course, don't forget about this 3 out here in the front. Bring it down. So you've distributed, and now we're going to combine like terms. So we need to combine the 3 with the 72, and we will get 75, positive 75. So what do I have left on the left side? I have a negative 36x and a plus 75. And that's all you could simplify on the left side. So now let's not worry about the left side, and let's simplify the right side. Again, we're going to distribute first. So we're going to circle the 5, including the minus sign in the front. That way you remember that it's a negative 5. Negative 5 times 6, that is negative 30 with an x. And then negative 5 times negative 15, that is positive 75. And of course, we're going to bring down the minus 6x. You simply rewrite it. Now from here, we're going to combine the x's. We're going to combine the negative 6x with the negative 30x. You owe $6, you owe $30, you're going to owe $36 altogether. So let me just do this in my head. Negative 36x, you don't have to show any work. Bring down the plus 75. And if we had an equal sign, we would just simply bring down the equal sign. But we don't have an equal sign, we have an inequality, so I'm going to bring down that inequality. So that is a greater than or equal to. Everybody with me?
Yes.
And now we have an inequality that we could solve that's already simplified. You want to get x by itself on one side. So I need to get rid of one of these guys. There's x's on both sides. So when we get rid of the minus 36 by going plus 36x, it cancels. But over here, it also weirdly cancels. So what do we have left? We have 75 is greater than or equal to 75. Now, the question is that always true or is that always false?
That's false.
Oh
Always
no, sure.
true.
Now,
It's equal.
it is equal to 75 is equal to 5. Now, what does this line mean? Or equal to, right? Or equal to. It includes it. So is 75 equal to 75? Absolutely. When? Always. So this is always true. So you're going to say x equals all real numbers. That's the symbol for it. Or you could actually write it out. All real numbers. Special case. So once again, when it's always true, just like an equation, if you were working on an equation and you end up with 5 equals 5 and the x's cancel out, you say all real numbers because 5 is always equal to 5. Right here, 75 is always equal to 75. It doesn't have to be that way though. You could have ended up with something like 7 is less than 8, right? And right there you would say all real numbers because 7 is always less than 8. Make sense? But if it's at something that's impossible, like let's say this line was not there. Well, let me first erase this so we don't get confused. But let's say this line was not there. It would say 75 is greater than 75. That would be false. So then you would say no solution. Make sense? Let's try the last special case problem. Again, we're going to simplify the left side. So I'm going to go negative 2 times 3x. What do I get? Negative 6x. Negative 2 times positive 4. Negative 8. Bring down that 5x. You have 3 terms. You could combine the 5x, take away the 6x. What do you have left? Negative 1x. Bring down the minus 8. That's all you could do on the left side. Let's check out the right side. There is no distributive property on the right side, but you could combine like terms. You have a 3x there and a minus 4x right there. So, what is 3x minus 4x in your head? Negative 1x. Bring down the minus 9. If I had an equal sign, I'd bring down the equal sign, but I have an inequality, so let me bring down that exact inequality. And now let me worry about getting x by itself on one side. What do? Plus 1x. So if I go plus 1x, the x cancels out and disappears. But over here, it also cancels out. So what do I have left? I have a negative 8 on the left side, a less than or equal to a negative 9 on the right side. So you need to stop right here and think, is that always true? Or is that always false? It's always false? Or is it always true? Is negative 8 less than negative 9? Negative 8 is bigger than negative 9 because you have to think about the number line, guys. Let's think about the number line. On a number line, obviously 0, 1, 2, as you go to the right, it gets greater. As you go to the left, it gets less. Okay? So when you think about here's negative 9, negative 8 is closer to the positives. So which one's on the right side? The negative 8's on the right side. Which one's on the left side? The negative 9's on the left side. So we know that negative 8 is greater because it's on the right side. We know that negative 9 is less because it's on the left side. So the inequality is going to want to eat the greater value. Which one's greater? The negative 8. So it should be opening up to the negative 8. So this is false. Negative 8 is not less than or equal to negative 9. It's actually greater than. So you need to do this. You need to say no, as in no solution. Or you could do the symbol. But this is a no solution situation. So I've discussed the special cases on this video. I've discussed the word problems on this video, which were kind of challenging. I don't think they're going to be that challenging on the quiz tomorrow. Watch the other videos if you need help on the previous questions.